Why 88% of businesses are failing with AI. The AI gold rush is here. Every consultant, guru, and tech headline is screaming that if you don't bake AI into your business right now, you're already a dinosaur. They're selling a dream, automated profits, hyper-efficient teams, and a business that practically runs itself. I'm Scott Lindsay, and I've spent my entire career in the trenches of risk, operations, and technology decisions. I've been Chief Risk Officer, Chief Compliance Officer, Director of Internal Audit, even CFO of a publicly traded bank. I've worked with global financial institutions, guiding executive teams through regulatory nightmares and operational overhauls that would make your head spin. But I'm also an entrepreneur. I founded and grew an internet solutions company from nothing to serving over 85 financial institutions, hundreds of thousands of customers, government agencies across multiple jurisdictions. So I've been on both sides of this. I know what it's like to make a tech bet when it's your own money on the line. And that's exactly what we need to talk about today on Small Business Risk. Because there's this dangerous narrative out there, but there's a dirty secret nobody is talking about. A stark financial reality that is quietly devastating the balance sheets of small and medium-sized businesses everywhere. What if I told you that for every single business that strikes gold with AI, many more are coming back with empty pockets, and some are in a worse spot than when they started? It's not a guess, it's the reality. The latest PwC Global CEO survey paints a sobering picture. A staggering 56% of business leaders admit they have seen no significant financial benefit from their AI investments at all, and only a small fraction, just 12%, report that their AI has managed to both increase revenue and decrease costs. This isn't a technology problem. This is a strategy crisis. Today, we're not talking about the latest shiny AI tool. We're pulling back the curtain on the three silent killers of the AI implementation return on investment, the hidden traps that cause so many businesses to stumble with AI. And more importantly, we're going to lay out the exact framework that the top 12% use to generate real, measurable returns. Section 1, the first silent killer, the shiny object syndrome. The single biggest reason AI projects fail has almost nothing to do with the technology itself. It's because most companies start with the tool, not the problem. They get a bad case of FOMO, fear of missing out, and rush to do AI without a clear business objective. They hear about a new generative AI model or an automation platform, and their first question is, how can we use this? Instead of asking, what's the most expensive, time-consuming, or frustrating problem in our business that we need to solve? This leads to what I call expensive science projects instead of proofs of concept. You spend months and thousands of dollars on a pilot, only for it to go nowhere because it was never tied to a real-world business need. A project brief might say something vague like, explore AI capabilities, which is code for, we don't have a plan. The project then lives and dies in an isolated lab, completely disconnected from the employees who are supposed to use it. When we flip the question from what can AI do to what business problem can AI solve, the entire dynamic changes. The 12% who succeed aren't buying AI. They are buying a solution. They identify a specific high-impact use case, like streamlining a bogged-down invoicing process or automating lead qualification, and then they find the right tool for that specific job. The failure isn't in the AI, it's in the absence of a blueprint. You wouldn't build a house without one, so why would you try to rebuild your business on a foundation of pure hype? So let us take a brief pause here. If you're finding this useful, do me a favor. Hit that like button and drop a comment below. Hit me up with questions or comments. I would love to get your thoughts. I will read every single one of them, and honestly, this will help me figure out what we need to cover next. And if you haven't subscribed yet, go ahead and do that too, because we're going to be unpacking a lot more of these practical risk topics. Section 2, the second silent killer, the data delusion. Here is one of the most fundamental truths about AI that most people miss. AI does not solve your data problems. It exposes them, and often it amplifies them. We have this delusion that we can just buy a sophisticated AI model, point it at our messy collection of spreadsheets, outdated customer lists, and disconnected software, and it will magically make sense of it all. But that's not how it works. An AI model is a learning engine, and it will learn from whatever you feed it. As the old saying goes, garbage in, garbage out. But with AI, it's garbage in and garbage at the speed of light out. AI learns patterns, not truth. If your data is flawed, the AI will faithfully reproduce and scale those flaws. If you have duplicated customer records, your AI will generate conflicting insights. If your sales data is incomplete, your revenue forecasts will be a fantasy. According to Gartner, poor data quality costs organizations an average of $12.9 million every year. And for AI initiatives, those losses are magnified because inaccurate data directly poisons the model's accuracy and your trust in it. Companies that succeed with AI treat their data as a strategic asset. They don't see data cleanup as a chore. They see it as the essential foundation for every successful model they build. They invest in data governance, in making sure information is clean, centralized, and reliable before they even think about deploying a complex AI. They understand that you can't build a skyscraper on a swamp. The top-performing companies don't just have an AI strategy, they have a data strategy that comes first. Section 3. The third silent killer, the productivity paradox. This last reason is the most counterintuitive and perhaps the most dangerous. AI was sold to us with the promise of efficiency, of freeing us from mundane work to focus on what matters. But for many, it's doing the exact opposite. We're witnessing the rise of the AI productivity paradox, where the very tools meant to save time are instead driving us toward burnout. Research from institutions like MIT highlights a strange phenomenon. Introducing AI can sometimes cause an initial dip in productivity as teams adjust. This happens for a few reasons. First, as employees use AI to work faster, their to-do lists don't shrink. Instead, the work expands to fill every hour that AI supposedly freed up. An always-on expectation develops because the machine can work 24/7, creating a subconscious pressure for humans to match that speed. This leads to what experts call AI fatigue and cognitive fatigue. Even if an AI generates a report or writes code, a human still has to direct it, review it, edit it, and take responsibility for the final output. This constant context switching is mentally exhausting. In fact, a Harvard Business School study found that while AI can make consultants much faster and produce higher quality work on tasks it's good at, it can also cause major problems when used on the wrong tasks. For example, consultants using AI for a task outside its capabilities were 19% less likely to get the right answer because they trusted the AI's flawed output. The 12% of companies that succeed understand this paradox. They realize AI implementation isn't just a technological challenge, but a human and cultural one. So if you're a business owner feeling caught between the hype and the harsh reality, and you're wondering if your company is set up to join the 12% of winners or the majority who are struggling, I want to help. Let's chat. Drop a comment. Section 4. The framework for success. How to join the 12%. So, how do you avoid these pitfalls? How do you build a business that uses AI to get stronger, not just busier? It comes down to a simple, three-part framework. First, start with the problem, not the product. Before you ever look at an AI tool, look at your business. Where is the most friction? Is it in customer support ticket times? Is it in the hours your team spends on manual data entry? Is it in the inaccuracy of your sales forecasting? Pick one high-impact business problem and define what success looks like in clear, measurable terms. Then, and only then, go find the simplest tool that can solve that specific problem. Second, treat your data like gold. You have to make data quality a strategic discipline, not just a technical cleanup task. This doesn't mean you need a perfect enterprise-grade data warehouse from day one. Start small. Pick that one business problem you identified and focus on getting the data for that single process clean, accurate, and reliable. Build a strong foundation there, prove the ROI, and then expand. Remember, AI doesn't fix a broken process. It just helps a good process run faster. And third, implement a human-first AI practice. The goal of AI should be to augment your team, not just automate them. One of the best mental models I've heard is to treat AI as a junior intern. It can do the first draft, it can gather information, it can handle the repetitive legwork. But the final 20%, the strategy, the critical thinking, the final sign-off, that remains human work. This approach means building in pauses, protecting time for deep work, and training your team on how to effectively direct and collaborate with AI rather than just being managed by it. The conclusion. The narrative that you must adopt AI at all costs is not just wrong, it's dangerous. It's leading a majority of businesses down a path of wasted investment, declining morale, and burnout. The problem isn't the technology, it's the blind rush to adopt it without a strategy. It's the delusion that it can work on messy data. And it's the failure to recognize the human cost of a productivity-obsessed culture. The companies that are actually winning with AI aren't the ones with the most advanced models or the biggest tech budgets. They are the ones with the clearest vision. They start with a business problem, they build on a foundation of clean data, and they put their people first, always. The goal isn't to become an AI company. The goal is to be a smarter, more efficient, and more sustainable company that strategically uses AI as a tool to get there. The 12% who understand this aren't tech wizards. They're just very, very smart business operators, and you can be one of them. So if you found this useful, do me a favor, hit that like button and drop a comment below. Hit me up with questions or comments. I would love to get your thoughts. I will read every single one of them, and honestly, this will help me figure out what we need to cover next. And if you haven't subscribed yet, go ahead and do that too, because we're going to be unpacking a lot more of these practical risk topics. See you in the next one.